Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of The VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 139 on, what's today?
Happy July 3rd, everybody.
July 3rd!
Woohoo!
The day
July
before
3rd.
Fireworks Day, National Scare the Crap Out of Your Neighbor's Dog Day. Yeah. I'm Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hello.
And Jimmy Trammell.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
So I have about a 30-minute drive home.
Me too.
There's an oil tanker that literally spilled on the highway.
Was everybody
all over the
slipping and sliding around like on banana peels?
Yeah. Apparently, it happened like 4 o'clock this morning.
Oh,
and it's been
it's
still a problem. I drove past it on my way to work, going, "Oh boy," which I did okay getting home. It wasn't too bad, but I'm sure lots of people are not that. So
I am imagining, and I hope somebody had the foresight to set up a speaker and play the Benny Hill theme as you see people out there slipping and sliding, trying to clean it up. But
Hey, well, at least both of you got out of the house, right? I mean, me, not out of the house
this
all
time
weekend.
of year, if you step out of your house, you might burst into flames, right? Because it's so ungodly hot.
Yeah, the sun is strong down here, that's for sure.
I will share this story with the chat if you're interested in seeing what it looks like, because it's nasty.
Yeah, I remember driving down through North Carolina. This would have been like 98, 99, right around there. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden they shut down the freeway.
Oh.
And I had no idea why, and they just dumped you off. This is like not premeditated, so there's no detour signs. This is pre-GPS, pre-smartphone to tell me where I am. So it's dark, and you're in the middle of nowhere with no street lights, just driving down dirt roads, trying to figure out how to get back to where the freeway is open again. Yeah, apparently some chemical truck had turned over, and then they had to shut down like a massive radius. I just kept having to drive south. I knew I needed to go south, so I would drive south until the road would end. Then I would turn and then go south again. And it took me several hours to get back to the freeway. But I just the whole time going, I don't know where the hell I am. Most of those roads probably aren't on an atlas anyway.
That's true.
This episode brought to you by Road Atlas, Rand McNally. They got us where we needed to go.
Or mapquest.com and a printout.
I didn't have MapQuest on the go. I had a Rand McNally atlas under my seat.
There you go.
Hey, remember those days when you used to print your directions before you
yeah.
go somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
When I was driving cross country, absolutely. That was like revolutionary. It's like, holy crap.
Man, could print it right up, rather than having to buy the big, thick atlas.
Hey, you need me to grab the atlas? Nope. I've got every turn right here.
MapQuest.
A stack of pages to drive to, like, Illinois.
Let me turn the page to see which way I turn, right?
Yeah. And that was if you could turn the page if you were lucky enough to have a full duplex printer. So most printers, you print on one side. Or you could manually flip it, but there was no guarantee you would flip it the right way, and then you'd have page 1's here. Page 2 is on the back of, like, page 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd print it out from work, right, and take it with you, even if it's on the weekend. If
Well,
you was going somewhere on
I
the
lived
weekend,
on the
you'd
ship.
print it on Friday, right,
Yeah.
so you could take it
Yeah,
with you.
I lived on the ship, so I lived at work anyway. That was the only printer I had, was the work one.
Right.
All right, hey, Matt. Other
Yeah.
than news about oil tankers, what else do we have to talk about?
We have news about DisplayPort 2.0. It's actually been ratified as a new standard, and it is basically allowing for 8K televisions to be a real thing, 8K displays. This is the first. This is the first connector that's going to be able to provide 8K resolution at 60 hertz or 60 frames per second, and full color gamut. So with this update, we will be able to start seeing 8K monitors and possibly TVs in the near future. Now, you remember we don't really know what we will need 8K for. Some people are saying for the really big monitors and things like that, but the Olympics are coming, and the Summer Olympics will be displayed in 8K, at least in Japan. So maybe that's.
Yeah, I'm confused with this because I could have sworn there was already DisplayPort 2. I was thinking this would be like DisplayPort 2.1. But
Yeah, you're thinking HDMI 2.0.
well, HDMI is like, I know about HDMI, but I could have swore that DisplayPort 2 had come out a couple years ago. But I'm obviously wrong.
Yeah, well, 1.4 I think was the most recent standard for that. And really, this is just the standards marching forward. And I really have no idea who in the world is going to need an 8K display. You can't see the pixels on a 4K screen. So
just a few years ago, people were saying, "Who needs a 1080p display? 720 is perfectly fine." What would you ever need 1080p for? We have 1080i.
Yeah, I don't know. It still doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, I mean, 4K? What the hell are you going to do with 4K? We don't even need 1080p.
I know, but it's because we actually are reaching the point where, for at least the smaller displays, you can't see the pixels.
No, I mean, but that's the thing is it. And we've talked about that before, is the resolution really only matters when you get to a specific pixel density and screen size. So, that's why I always say anything smaller than a 50-inch, 720 is fine. Yeah. And then I wouldn't even care about 4K until I go above 65.
And that'll be a good future when you can buy 65-inch and bigger monitors for less than $500. Wait a second.
Oh, wait, you can.
We're there.
Yes, well, I mean, right at the 500 because your 65-inch TCL, the 4 series, 4K. So it's not the top of the line, but it's not the bottom of the line. It's just right there in the happy medium. It's about 550 to 570. So close enough.
And you're right, Clyde. We've talked about this before. I mean, for these new standards like this, it all depends on the availability of content and is it affordable?
Yeah,
right.
And right now it's not affordable, but there also isn't content available, so it's really only for the bleeding edge. I mean, but it's smart for the standard to be moving because there's nothing worse than content being available, but the standard hasn't been ratified and you don't, we would love to give you this content, but you have no way to get it to your screen because none of the cables out there support it.
So what you're saying is it's a chicken and the egg problem, but you don't have a chicken nor an egg.
Nope.
Not yet.
I mean, there are small niche markets out there for this. Maybe the Hollywood film editors or something like that would care about this type of technology. Maybe they probably would be the first to use it, right? But for the mass market out there, no, it's going to be a long time.
I mean, by the time it's ubiquitous, you want those cables to be available,
right?
So.
Oh yeah,
right. Oh yeah.
Right. So if you live in a multi-family dwelling or something like an apartment building or a
hive,
Sorry, what?
A hive?
A hive? A hive?
Do you live in a hive
Does your building
or a
buzz?
nest?
Oh, that sounds horrible. But if you do live in one of those situations, you might be offered a new solution by your landlord, thanks to Dish. Dish is announcing a service called Dish Fiber, which I don't know if it has any fiber in it. But the idea is that they will provide a building-wide both Wi-Fi and a building-wide streaming solution for television available to the residents for a fee that your landlord can attach to your rent. So, guess what? If you go here, I would love to hear from somebody who says, "Oh yeah, I've had it, and this is what's good, this is what's bad." It'd be really interesting to know how this really is. This is brand new announced today, though, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
everybody's obsession with fiber. I blame that on doctors and cereal companies in the 80s that drove it into you that you needed fiber to be a massive part of your life.
They're talking
I
off
know at the
fiber.
time they were talking about different fiber, but your brain still remembers that. So,
Also, optical fiber is awesome for other reasons, but that's besides.
absolutely. But even if there's no fiber involved, Ubiquiti makes a wireless product called
Air fiber. Right.
There is no fiber in that connection. It's just point-to-point wireless connection. But still, your brain goes, "Ooh, fiber! I like that."
So Wi-Fi has gotten a lot better for these larger, more densely populated areas. So and apparently it gives you still your own private network, so you will still be able to get your own. You're not sharing a subnet with anybody, basically. But this could be the using of newer technologies in order to provide this kind of good coverage inside your buildings. And quite frankly, I can see this being actually really helpful for these very dense environments like this, because oftentimes, you know how hard it is to get your cable in there or get decent internet inside one of those rooms. Sometimes it's not easy. So if they can offer something that actually solves that problem,
it is easy if it is sponsored by the building,
right?
Because the issue is getting that like a good mesh. Essentially getting full coverage, and usually you're just doing that in your apartment. You can't really run wires on the walls and get the APs where you want them. You have to stick with the convenience of where the jack is. I'm guessing that this is probably also utilizing IPv6.
Probably.
Otherwise they'd have issues in large complexes with if everybody's getting their own subnet.
It could be double natting as well and things like that.
Yeah. But so I'm guessing that to keep everything nice, clean, and tidy, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be utilizing IPv6 because all the new devices support it. So
they didn't mention how fast this would be, though, did they?
Well, they don't want to.
I bet you anything. It depends on the area and what they can get to the building. So I'm certain they don't want to let anybody know, how fast it's going to be, because they can't promise anything at this point.
Nope.
Like my friend who said, "I'm so excited. I'm getting 12 megabit per second DSL." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Out where I live, that's fast." It's like, okay. Oh yeah, and I'm not streaming any television. I'm going for Dish. So, I said that makes sense. Amazon has their Fire TV devices, and they have updated the interface with a new field of the new bar, whatever you want to call it, tab of various things you can watch, which is basically all the live television that's available on your services. If you've signed up for a live service through your Amazon TV service, like say PlayStation View, it will show you live shows that are on right at that time and let you click on them. And even if you don't, it will be using free services like Pluto TV to show you what's going on live that you could be watching. So yeah, kind of a bar of what's on now is a new feature in your Amazon Fire TV.
This is cool if you are someone that resides within that ecosystem. I find it a hard sell just because then I need to subscribe to those apps through Amazon. I don't want a middleman. So, but lucky for me that, live TV isn't really what I'm looking for. So I am not the demographic. So there's somebody out there that's jumping up and down, yelling yippee right now because this
You
could
actually
be
might
cool.
be surprised. There are a lot of people who would rather have one bill, and because of that, they want to have their
Oh, I
one
get that.
major provider, like an Apple or an Amazon, be the thing that they get everything through, and then we
Sure.
don't have to worry about all the other stuff. They'd actually really like that, and so if they also like getting their live TV and they can get a nice feed of what's currently on, hey. That's cool. And actually, I like the fact that they're also offering the free services as well in there to kind of tempt you to see something that you're missing. Also, I would be nice if there's a way you could say, I don't want to see live TV. Just turn that bar off. But I bet you that's not an option.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you guys. I mean, live TV in general. Yeah. I don't really, who cares? Except the one exception is sports, right? I do like to watch, when like the major golf tournaments or something like that come up, or baseball here when we get to the All-Star game here shortly. Would want to watch that live, right? But the TV shows I watch, no, I stopped doing that years ago, right? Wouldn't be on this podcast if I want to watch live television all the time, right?
Right.
Live TV? Do you mean Twitch?
No, YouTube Live.
Oh, do people use that?
Yeah, and that Facebook Live thing.
Oh,
Ooh.
Mixer.
Mixer.
Mixer. Okay.
Mixer. Nice.
Got it. I almost said Blender, but that's a completely different thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. I have a feeling this is going to be another thing to make me hate the Prime UI. I mean, Fire UI, because I have so much trouble finding what I'm actually looking for to begin with. Now they're just adding more things that are in my way. So, yeah.
So, PlayStation View is raising prices $5. Their lowest price will now start at $50 a month. If this sounds familiar to you, that might be because they actually did this about a year ago. They raised the prices about $5 a month. Could this be a continuing trend? Let's hope not. But that's they basically now caught up with almost all the other providers that's starting around 50, unless you're talking about Sling.
Well, I mean, you had everybody. They said, "Hey, we're the most expensive," and then everybody passed them up. They're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! No! We're going to be out in front." And next year it'll be another 5. It'll be the. We discussed this a few months ago. That I have a feeling it's gonna rise. They're just gonna keep. They're gonna keep at bumping up the price until they have a massive exodus, and then they see. Right now is the point where they test to see just how much are people willing to pay for the service. And then when everybody leaves, like DirecTV now, then they'll go, oh, okay, maybe we need to roll this back a little bit, and we know what the service is actually worth. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody's, even Netflix is, I think it's this month that the prices are going up $2 more on all their plans.
Well, I mean, and also, what a dollar is worth today isn't what a dollar was worth 5 years ago.
It's worth more.
And so, you've got prices steadily increase, and it's the same thing. If you, they're going to raise the price until they see that mass exodus, and then they'll cap it. So,
yeah, true enough. I mean, I don't know if they raise the price and there's no change in content or anything else, kind of tougher to take than they say, okay, we're going to raise the price, and then we either give you, a new feature that everybody likes, or maybe a little bit more content, or something along that line. If you're getting more value for that pricing increase in some way, right? Even a small way,
Mhm.
I think that goes over a little bit better, right? But if you just raise the price, say, yeah, well, we're not making enough profit, so we're just going to raise prices, right? Then that is probably taken quite
Well, I
negatively.
mean, and yeah, it's up to them that if they're going to raise the price, if they want to keep their customers, you need to give something to the customers that they will see that price hike as beneficial.
Right.
If you're charging me more and I'm getting more in return,
Hmm.
okay. But if you're cutting channels and pulling entire networks and then raising the price,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
wait,
That's
no.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. How high do you think this is going to go before people get fed up?
I think that people will, for a TV cable replacing service kind of thing that offers the benefits of the cord cutting, where you can watch it from multiple places, even though that's not necessarily a View's thing. Have multiple people watching, have the built-in cloud DVR. I bet you that $60 will be the point where nobody will be wanting to spend more.
Yeah.
65 maybe, but if it hits 70,
Yeah,
people are gonna. I
I'm
think that's the pain point where people are like, "This isn't worth it anymore. I'll go back to cable."
I'm of the opinion that we are pretty much there. We're at the precipice.
So
We could probably go a couple bucks more, but tipping point is coming soon.
Well, as long as I'm kind of okay with the little gradual increases here and there, right? As long as they don't force you into a contract. When they start bringing contracts back, then
Oh,
that's where
they
I
run away.
that's where I draw the line.
right.
Yep, run away. Contract, otherwise known as willingly. Never mind. I was gonna make a.
In other words, agreeing to something you don't want to do. Roku is basically announced some numbers about how well they've been doing as far as selling devices goes, and they are way ahead of everybody else. They now have over 41 million devices in use, and what's interesting is that I was looking at this graph that they have here, and the graph they have here is of the U.S. devices in use.
Mhm.
So compared to the rest of the world, they're actually not as dominant. In fact, I don't think they are the number one in the rest around the world. But
Not
this
yet.
graph here shows how far they are ahead of everybody else,
Mhm.
and it is amazing how well that they're doing with their products. And I understand, because it's a simple interface, and simple does really make a good product if it works well. The other thing about this graph that's interesting to me is that if you look at the trend, Apple's going to be number 2 very shortly, and they're way past. They passed Amazon even. So
Well,
good job, Apple.
well, one thing that's interesting to me when I look at this graph, it makes me think, because I'm going back, the quarters, and all that inflection point that you see there with Roku. Was that about? I mean, I can't remember. I'm asking you guys. Is that the same time that Roku started, introducing the Roku app in smart TVs?
No. Well, this was
It's possible.
2016, so possibly.
Right.
And
'Cause-
this is
eh,
also 2016. That's no, the Roku 4 was already out. I want to say there was new hardware, but yes, it was probably
but
probably
but
TVs.
but that probably contributed to it, I guess, is my
Oh no,
point.
but
Right.
what I
Right.
was gonna say, the point I was gonna make is they owe a large majority of their market share to the fact that they are the kind of default go-to OS for your smart TV.
Right.
And I mean, they're in the TCLs and the Hisense and the
Hmm.
affordable TVs that are good,
Hmm.
cheap, and then it's in there. I'll just use it.
Right.
My parents have several Rokus now because they have the one that I bought them. to get them kind of in, and then once they, because they could understand it, then they got another one for the main house, and then my mom bought a couple little TVs, one for like the kitchen, different things, and they have Rokus in it, so may as well use it. And
then to Matt's point, right, talking about the late oncoming of Apple TV, because they too jumped in that, and they too are starting to offer their app and services on these smart TVs as well. So maybe, you wouldn't think that, or at least I wouldn't, right? I would think the device, would be the thing that most people would buy, but maybe not. Maybe they just use the apps on their smart TV.
Well, and that was the thing is, right in their 2016, 2017 is when Roku shifted their focus away from being a hardware manufacturer to being, they didn't want to be the number one device. They wanted to be the everything. They wanted to be on everything, whether it's their OS or just the Roku app.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Interesting how that's playing out there. And I'm still not really convinced if being on the television is going to be the way to go. I mean, me personally, I like having my separate device.
Yeah, but we're not, I do too, but like I said, we're not the normal
we're not
case.
We're not the mass market. Yeah,
most people,
absolutely right.
Most people that are using a Roku now, they went out, they wanted a 50-inch TV. They said, "Oh, this TCL, it's $250, and it's a 50-inch 4K." Okay, and they take it home. They buy the TV. Oh, it's already got Roku in it, so you may as well just use it. Yeah, I've always, I was a late adopter of Roku because I always viewed it as kind of, that was just the cheesy thing that everybody else, it's like, I'd rather be using something I actually care about rather than just that thing. But Roku has had the benefit of everybody develops an app for the Roku, where you look at the Android TV on there, it's just been pretty stagnant, had no real growth, no significant growth, and that's I was one of the people that left the Android TV because I couldn't get the apps I wanted.
Right.
People were refusing to develop for it. So you go to the thing that has everything that you want, and it, so Roku's been nailing it.
Right. Yep.
All right. Moving on, we have Netflix. Netflix is making a change to their shows that they've been making, their originals. They're going to go ahead and make a major change that I'm sure will affect every single one of their shows in every single way. They are making sure that their originals will have a lot less smoking inside of it. That doesn't matter whether it's some kind of show with a character who would normally smoke, or an e-cigarettes or anything like that. It does. They said unless it's significant for like a historic reason, they're pretty much going to try to reduce the amount of smoking in their original shows. And I'm not a smoker, so I don't care. But I have a feeling that, Clyde, you care.
I just think it's stupid. The only reason for this is because of the pressure from what's that group? Truth, I think.
Truth.
And okay, so I mean, if you read the article, the points that they make is that there was significantly more smoking in season 2 of Stranger Things. Well, yeah, it has to do with the time frame,
Yeah.
and the setting of, the first season was all about the kids. Those kids were young. They didn't smoke. The only people you saw smoke was like when Winona Ryder was on the screen, or, some of the parents, which It was 80s. Everybody's parents I knew, they smoked, you know? And then they made the argument that on Amazon Prime, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, everybody's smoking. Well, yeah,
Especially
that
in
was
France.
the 50s.
Yeah,
Well,
this-
number
in
one,
France.
it was the 50s. Everybody smoked. And number two, part of the last season was in France where everybody
Everybody's
smoked.
yeah.
So if you did a show about the 50s or a time period like that and nobody's smoking, I think you just like ruin the authenticity. Demonizing something that is number one legal, and number two, you know, it done for artistic reasons is stupid. That's all.
I agree.
yeah, I agree.
Max
Yeah.
Trobot.
Yes.
And I also agree with Bad Weave. Yeah, Netflix is getting rid of Fire Sticks.
But you know, and actually, this marks a serious trend that I don't think I like about Netflix. Netflix has been kowtowing to outside pressure. One thing, the story didn't make it, but they go on to remember a few years ago, Netflix did that new show with Chelsea Handler. Go watch an episode.
Many of them are missing.
They removed
Not all of them.
They removed 60 episodes because
Really?
people were like, "We don't like this. It doesn't fit the image that we want you to portray," and so they're removing. They like purged. I mean, I'm not a fan of Chelsea Handler in the least, but the fact that you know they're changing or they're I don't like it.
You don't like self-censorship.
I don't like censorship.
You don't like
I don't
self-censorship.
and I don't
either.
like when someone gives up on their own values to please other people. And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, Don Draper wouldn't have been Don Draper without
Oh,
cigarettes.
hell
right?
no. How, you know, if that ad agency and Mad Men, nobody
Yeah.
smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be so unbelievable. And it's like, I don't know what kind of alternate universe this is, but I don't like it.
Right.
Well, hopefully you are enjoying your YouTube TV, especially since they just got a new updated interface for you guys. It's basically got bigger thumbnails. It's got a kind of a UI that's been kind of a little bit refreshed, but more importantly, it's got the ability to give you a nice preview of what you're fast forwarding to during your fast forward and reverse. This has been a pet peeve of ours, being able to fast forward and have no idea where you are in the fast forward. But they've made some minor changes to make it a little bit nicer on their TV. I've seen some of it, and it does look pretty nice, what they've done. It's actually not much of a difference in the main menu interface. It's more of the on-screen display while you're using it that's been updated.
You know, I didn't even know that this wasn't always the thing until I read this article. Because as far as I know on my Roku, I've always been able to see where I was fast forwarding to.
Not on YouTube TV. And I've known for a fact...
That's the only place... Yeah, that's what I watch.
Right.
Originals or live TV stuff.
And I know for a fact this is actually really hard to do. You have to basically have a whole nother encode of the show at a lower resolution and at a lower frame rate, technically, in order to have a parallel stream so you can do this forward and backwards without having to do some major processing on the back end in order to do this kind of thing. So this is work. This is good stuff.
I'm confused because I have never once in the over a year now that I've been using YouTube TV, I have never had a problem getting to the point that like when I watch a DVR,
right?
I can, you know, I don't remember having to blindly skip forward to get past commercials. I've always just gone right up to the point where the episode's coming back in. And so I don't know when this changed on the Roku. The whole point of this story is that it's coming to more devices. See, this is, but they were talking about a progressive fast forward. But
Right.
I don't know. I
very-
swear it's been there for a while.
It might have been, but it's also getting a
maybe.
nicer look.
You know what?
And it's also coming to more devices. Maybe it's just been on Roku for a while.
Maybe it has. Either that, or I don't remember if I got accepted into the beta. That might be part of it too. I might just be.
Can't remember. I'm watching beta or not. I don't remember.
Well, I mean, that's
Clyde.
that's the thing is because I'm a beta on Roku, so that may have been
right
implemented months ago, but I didn't realize it because it was just rolled out with the beta. So okay, never mind.
All right. Well, are you guys a fan of Seinfeld? I sure hope so, because Hulu is celebrating their ownership of the streaming rights of Seinfeld for their 30th anniversary by making some interesting little interface changes. For example, they have some themed shows where you can go watch, the food, the breakups, the crimes, and even a beginner's guide for those who are not, really been watchers of Seinfeld. But probably the biggest and coolest thing they've added to here is a yada 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 button, which. It's literally a button that says yada 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 that gives you random episodes. I hope you're happy.
It's only on the Apple TV.
Only on the Apple TV?
Yeah, they're doing it for the Apple TV. Is my understand. So yeah, it says you'll find this button on the Seinfeld series detail page on the Apple TV. So, awesome. I'm kind of sad. Because I remember watching the first season of Seinfeld. I had no idea what it was because I caught that first episode halfway in on live TV. And I was trying to explain it to people on the bus to school the next day. And they're just like, I have no idea what you were watching. That doesn't sound like a real show. And it wasn't until, and then I didn't know what day or time because I didn't really think about it till after the fact. It took a long time to get back to it and figure out what that show was. But the thing that makes me sad is that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So I was 11.
Yeah.
Well,
but one thing to note.
Not me. I was a little older than that.
He was 30 already, but one thing to note. So they did pay like $180 million for the rights to every episode of Seinfeld. That was back in
2015.
2015, yeah. So they're adding. They get to celebrate the 30th just in time for AT&T to take Seinfeld and move it to the new Warner service at the end of 2020. So those of you that get the yada 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 button, use it while you can. You've got just about a year and a half left to be able to use it. But then that's the new Warner. But that's that new service that we're still not sure what's going on. Somebody, there was rumors recently that it's going to be called HBO Plus or something like
Prime
that.
Or
HBO
Plus
Ultra.
Well, Battle Royale. I don't know what it is.
But they're putting it all. They're putting that new Warner thing under the HBO umbrella. So
my favorite episode of Seinfeld was The Bet.
So I never watched a lot of Seinfeld. It was I watched some episodes. Obviously, the Soup Nazis one I've seen and things like that. But
that was a good one.
I was young and it didn't make a lot of sense to me, and I had other things to do. So I never saw the first episode. I never. I know he's a comedian in the show, and he's a comedian, and it's funny, and
The best story arc in that show is when they were trying to pitch essentially their show to NBC.
Mhm.
And they had the other people acting it out, and it
Well,
just
I mean,
weren't right.
but the whole point was what is the show about?
Nothing.
Nothing. But
Show
Yeah.
about
Yes.
nothing.
yeah. So I
So
mean, it's a
your
great show.
your idea is a show about nothing. Yes,
Yes.
I think you might have something.
But yeah. Congratulations. 30 years.
Man. Wow, where did it go?
Yep.
So that means Cheers was it's been 40 years. Just
Yep.
about.
It has.
Almost. Well, 35. But yeah.
So last story we have here is about Google Stadia. Actually, I think the story I linked is not related to the news item that I wanted to, but I can
Stay Stadia.
Google Stadia. One of the guys who are running it had an interview where he discussed with somebody asked him about bandwidth caps and the Google Stadia and what that means for them. And he mentioned that he thinks that the various companies out there that are ISPs are going to realize that just like they had before with when streaming TV came out and when streaming music came out before that they were going to have to adjust their bandwidth caps. And this is just going to be the next thing of their next step in their evolution. I sure hope so, because I'm interested in Stadia. I did not sign up for their premium thing, but I am definitely going to try out their free version. I very much feel like I was at least worth a shot.
You want to get that custom tag
Controller?
No, the tag that will go with you forever to show that you're elite.
I mean, I would love it, but is it worth $130 to me? I don't know.
That's the only reason I think I'm going to sign up.
You want to?
It's one of those things. It's that status symbol that you can only get once.
Status symbols are valuable. It's absolutely true.
Even if I never use it.
But the thing is about this is that they basically said that if you play about I forget it was if you play on the highest setting where you're going to be using it for at the highest 4K with the HDR 60 frames per second, the 5.1 surround, you'll be able to watch you'll be able to play about 65 hours a month with a 1 terabyte cap. That doesn't count 60. Well, that's 2 hours a day every day if you think of it that way.
I'm kidding.
So it's actually not too bad. But that being said, in this household, with me on games, with 20 gig patches sometimes, and with my wife and my son watching videos on various devices and falling asleep with them still streaming, I basically have for the past 2, maybe 3 months now hit my bandwidth cap, my 1 terabyte bandwidth cap every month. And my wife asked, "Well, do we just need to go up in speed so we can, get more bandwidth?" And I said, "That's not how it works. If we have more speed, we'll hit the bandwidth cap faster."
Well, it depends. Yeah.
But so what they do is at Comcast, unfortunately, is it's $10 for every.
Yeah.
But they do have an unlimited plan, but they'll spend up to $200 extra worth of going over, or you can buy $50 a month for unlimited.
See, that's the only reason I'm happier with Mediacom than if I was on Comcast Residential is because the bandwidth cap is based on your speed. So the higher speed tier, the higher cap.
Right.
Which is why I had to pay for the gigabit to get the 6 terabyte cap, even though I'm only seeing like 200 actual service.
I'm all against hard caps like that.
Oh, I am.
It should be soft caps where it's like, we don't have real caps, but when when everybody's on it, you're going to get limited just by the nature of the ports going out of this is only 10 gig. Like that. That's fine.
I'm not okay with that because from experience, that's going to happen when you
Right.
when you can't survive or you can't deal with it. Like we're streaming this, all of a sudden they start throttling my speed. That's a problem.
I totally get that.
Unpredictability. But
I agree with that. But the literal, hey, we plugged your neighborhood into a 40 gigabit network line, and we haven't upgraded to 100 gigabit yet on your neighborhood. Well, that makes sense. There's going to be a 40 gigabit per neighborhood cap. That's a soft cap. They're not actually trying to, stop you from getting your bandwidth. They just, the infrastructure isn't there. And hey, they've got a whole bunch of people using it. They should be able to pay for upgrades. But hard caps, I hate them. And so, this is a problem because, hey, if we want more stuff in the cloud.
So I want to know what happens when you're playing this, when you've got people in the house streaming.
Right.
And you want to stream your Stadia stream to the Twitch.
To Twitch they don't have a fixed.
They don't have it yet.
But for YouTube, Live,
and then it's going straight from the Stadia server.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason they're doing it this way, right? All right. Well, I just thought it was interesting. I sure hope that this does push caps up for everybody, since caps are not going away unless competition is a thing. So. I'm hoping for changes in the future. That'd be great.
Well, maybe 5G change all that, right?
It might, but wireless tends to have caps as well, either one way or another. So.
I have the solution.
Terrestrial Wi-Fi.
No, all of the ISPs need to grow their hair. Before I grew my hair long, you never saw me without a cap. Now you don't see caps at all. No caps. Long hair, no caps.
I believe you have something.
If that would work, I'd be all for it. I support the long hair ISPs. I'm all for it. Support your long hair ISP. Mm-hmm. They have no caps.
No caps.
All right. With that is the end of the news for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, this is the point in the show where we like to thank those crazy people out there that are so loose with their money that they are willing to support this ridiculous venture we call.
Oh, you mean gamblers?
Well, I don't think they're gambling. It's more like just
venture capitalists
throwing it. That's a good way to look at it.
Bankers with no idea what to do.
Venture capitalists are hoping to get a return on their investment.
Well, they're going to get a return. They're going to get us being happy.
Well, they could get that for free.
That's true, I guess. And the satisfaction to know that they supported us.
Yeah.
It's good.
You're not supposed to use that word.
You know what that's called when you give money to something knowing that you're never going to get it back?
What's that?
Irresponsible.
All right, irresponsible. Thank you for being irresponsible. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your irresponsibility. We appreciate it. So, I mean, if you see any redeeming qualities, any benefit in this show week to week,
we're sorry,
and you're and you're feeling a tad bit irresponsible. Yeah, you want to throw us a buck or two or whatever.
Or if you're feeling really irresponsible, how much do you got?
Just give us your routing number and we can take care of that.
We'll only take a couple $100 a month. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So, no, the patrons.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yes, you are.
That is patreon.com/the VOD Squad. And we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
All right. And head on over to check with the big voice Jay. Summer Movie Draft.
Welcome to Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of July 1st, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay, brought to you by America, a free country where every man can do as his wife pleases. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Game Night's in last place with $208.8 million. Team The Vaughn Squad's in 5th place with $292.9 million. Team Drunk Kids Gaming is in 4th place with $303.4 million. Team Retro Misery gets $39 million from Spider-Man Far From Home and 3rd place with $612.6 million. Team Have a Drink is in 2nd place with $773.9 million. And in 1st place with $1,235.2 million, it's Team Movie Party. Well, that's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. All told is a record as of July 3rd, 2019.
Yep, and we got some Cogswell in the background. That's not very America.
Okay.
Just kidding. It's okay to have a Canadian playing the music on the America stream. But yeah, awesome. When are you guys going to catch me?
So I'll say this: we definitely got 5th place locked up.
What does Game Night have left? Do they have anything?
Let me go ahead and find out.
I don't think they have any. No, they
Game
don't.
Night is done, and
they're
let's see,
done.
all their movies that they have, pretty much all of them have made all their money. So Game Night is at this point static where they are. The question is, will the people surpass?
You know that game where you taunt somebody and you stay just outside of their reach as they're running at you? You don't run so fast that you lose them. You run just fast enough to stay out of their reach so they can't quite grab you. That's the game the Drunk Kids Gaming is playing with you guys right now.
Right.
You're currently 10 million behind them, roughly. And they have The Lion King coming,
Right.
and you have Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
So it's actually going to be a decent race between those two.
It's
I
going to
think they've
be,
got
but
the edge.
you're not going to be able to catch them. You're
you
just
never
gonna be
know.
right out of...
I think we might get another 10 million out of yesterday, perhaps.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
But
think
they're
so.
also going to get more money out of Toy Story 4.
Right.
They're probably not going to get much else out of Child's Play.
No.
Yeah, so that's why I said I think you might get close to them, but they're going to be just right outside of your reach.
I think we're going to overtake them. I feel pretty confident about that.
I actually think the most interesting race right now is the race between Have a Drink and Ritual Misery. Have a Drink is basically done. They've made their money. They're going to make a little bit more. Ritual Miseries has all their movies in, but their one they just got was Spider-Man Far From Home. And it's only made $40 million so far. It's at least $100 million movie, which puts them really close. It gets them really kind of close to that. They also have Aladdin still. And Secret Life of Pets will make a little money this weekend, but I don't know. It just seems like this could be that could be the race to watch for what's going on from this point.
I'm starting to wonder with you talking about these races so many times, does that make you a racist?
I sure hope not.
Or at least maybe racial.
I am racial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, it's someone that runs in a race, aren't they also racists?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right term, but no, I don't think that's how it works.
Because if you ride in a bicycle race, you're a bicyclist, right? So if you ride a bike, you're a bicyclist. If you run a race, you would be a racist, right?
I still don't think that's how it works.
Okay. Well, you know what does
thank
work?
you for illustrating why the English language sucks.
Okay. But you know what does work?
No, I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
I think it does.
No,
Rants
I
and
think it
raves.
doesn't.
Oh, you broke it.
Yes! Yes! Told you it didn't work. Oh, he pulls it out.
It didn't restart, so whatever. We have it. We are back. Who's got a rant? Who's got a rave?
I have a mini product review for you guys. So I have we got that TV last couple weeks ago or something like that, and I wanted to get the Bluetooth headphones to be hooked up to it. So I bought some Avantri headphones. They are aptX, but compatible with low latency codec in them. And I also bought two different receivers slash transmitters. One was basically a one that's designed to be sent. It's from Avantri, so it's like gonna work. And I was like, okay, we'll do this. And I think it only sends. So you hook it up to your TV, and it sends out to your headphones. Works fine. So I can link those there in the chat just so you guys can see if you're interested in them. There's the headphones, and here is that.
Amazon?
No, I did not. I'm just giving
I was gonna say, where
I'm giving
is
you-
Matt? What have you done with him?
Well, these things are nice and short and sweet, which is nice versus the really horribly long Newegg links I would normally give you. So come on, Newegg, get a URL shortener. Those two have been working very well. I might be purchasing another Avantri set of headphones in order for me to have, because that transmitter connects to two with the low latency. I can't tell. It's great. I have hooked up other headphones to it, and there is a slight delay. So it really does make a difference.
Let me ask you this. You have Roku running on that TV, right?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you just use the Roku wireless from the app on your phone?
I could do that, and it would work just fine. But I have people who specifically do not like that. They don't like to have to hook their phone up to it because they don't want to drain the battery on their phone.
Okay.
It's just that I have people who've come over and I've offered that solution, and they said it's okay, but can I have the Roku with the remote I can plug in and drain that battery? And that's what they did. And it's fine. They can do whatever they want. I don't care at this point. But I wanted to offer a solution for everybody that would allow those things.
Yeah, the nice thing is you can plug your phone into the charger.
I know.
So, yeah. Oh.
Unless you're like me and you have a phone without a headphone jack.
See, that was the whole reason I was against the wireless, the headphone wireless for Roku, was when it wasn't baked into the app, when it was only on because I would go, a set of batteries for a Roku remote will last me probably about a year. If I plug my headphones into it, they last me a day.
Yeah.
No. Well, so I like those two products, and I'm going to say go ahead. If you're looking for something that will work, low latency, these are nice. I recommend them. They're not the world's greatest headphones, but they're not bad. And the battery life on them is amazing. I've forgotten to charge them a couple days now, and they're still at like 90%. Now, that being said, this look at the old guy. This is a transmitter / receiver from MPOW, which I just linked into the chat. Don't buy it. It is, well, first of all, the audio that comes out of the headphone jack on it, you have to basically kind of like move it to the side. You have to squeeze it together for it to actually be working correctly. So that doesn't work. The device is, it has its biggest claim to fame is it can be a transmitter or a receiver, which is kind of cool. But the USB power in it, I had it plugged in like for a day and a half, and it just decided working. So that sucks. It does do like a pass through for the audio if you want to do a pass through with the optical audio out of it. So you could like daisy chain along a couple of these, which is kind of cool. But no, this is not the one I would recommend. The quality is not there. The build quality is not good. I've had issues. I've had to Velcro things to it to make it work right. I have not been happy with it. I might have to return it. So Avantri, I'm happy with. This MPOW from this Chinese company, I do not recommend.
Okay. Good to know. Jimmy,
Very cool.
what you got?
I'm still watching the show that Matt recommended maybe 3 weeks ago. The Designated Survivor. I'm in the third season now, right, of that one, and that's the one that was produced by Netflix, of course. And really quite enjoying that one. I'm really, really liking it.
Is that the one? Is that the one where the CIA and FBI people are running around the world together, breaking all laws?
Well, the lady is running around the world a lot, and she is breaking some laws. So
Well, I wasn't sure if it's the same show. There was another show that you were like in love with where it was a FBI agent teams up with a CIA agent.
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like,
that one. You're thinking of Whiskey Cavalier.
oh, that's okay. I'm confusing the two.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I haven't seen Designated Survivor.
Yeah, that's with Kiefer Sutherland. You know, he's the designated survivor, right?
So
Isn't that called 24?
it kind of is kind of like 24, and the third season. Well, yeah, basically it's like 24 / The West Wing tied together.
Kind of like that a little bit. Not
Does he
not
die
as
for a few minutes at a time, over and over and over? Because it
It's
sounds
not-
like that's Flatliners.
it's not it's not the I like the reference, but it's not as intense as what 24 was, right?
No.
But still, you know, well done, entertaining. You know, just the premise of it, you know, is I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, right? But you know, the
He becomes president,
he becomes president,
and he's not. It would not normally be a president, and he's an independent, which means he doesn't care about the politics, which makes it interesting and fun.
Yeah.
So he's not a true independent. Because most independents, they're only independent because they couldn't win the nomination in the party that they normally like.
He would be more like, I don't follow party lines for party lines' sake. I do what I think is right. Independent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which basically, before an event that happens that makes him president, basically he got to to the Senate, which is as high as he could ever go, and he was never going to get any higher than that. But so he was kind of like this middle of the road senator from somewhere, and so something happens, and suddenly he's president.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's kind of how Gerald Ford became vice president. He wasn't even next. It was just like they called him and said, "Hey, guess what? You're the vice president." Wait, what?
Yeah, if Gerald Ford became president the same way Heath Sutherland's character became president, that would be an interesting story. That's for certain.
You know, speaking of Gerald Ford,
well, he kind of did. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to be, because he was Speaker of the House, and then they said, "Oh, you're vice president," and then when Nixon resigned, he just like, "Oh yeah, remember not that long ago you weren't even in line for anything? Guess what? You're now the president of the country."
yeah, you know, just speaking of Watergate and all that, you know, just the other day I was watching an old episode of Fear Factor. It was the episode that had G. Gordon Liddy on it, right?
Yes.
And for those that don't know, G. Gordon Liddy was involved with Watergate and spent 5 years in prison.
Mm-hmm. And is now a talk show host.
He is. Well, is he still? I mean, G. Gordon
know.
Liddy's like he's like 88 years old now.
He was in the 90s, in the 2000s. I don't know.
Yeah, him and William Shatner are the same age.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched Holy Moly yet?
No.
Have you heard of Holy Moly?
Nope.
I've
Looking
not.
it up now.
ABC has a new game show. It's a miniature golf competition.
Oh.
It is absolutely awesome.
Holy moly.
It was a thing that it popped up in the Hulu suggestion that you should watch this next. And I was going to watch something with my daughter. We started watching Fargo. And then I got to a scene in a hotel room with Steve Buscemi and the other dude that I went, "Oh crap.
Nope.
I did not remember this scene." We switched over to Hulu and I just said, let's watch this. I saw mini golf. It is set up with Joe so the announcers are Joe Tessitore, which most people would know from football. He is a well-known, legitimate sportscaster, and his color man is Rob Riggle. If you don't know who Rob Riggle is, look him up and you'll see his face and you'll go, oh, that guy. He is hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
So
who it is.
it's imagine the like Wipeout game meets mini golf. It is a lot of fun. Check it out. The first episode in the first hole, I was laughing so hard I fell on the ground because I fell off the couch because I couldn't breathe.
Well, this is the kind of show, specifically Wipeout in particular, is one of the kind of shows that my son loves so much. He was watched every single one, and Total Wipeout, which is the original British version.
Which
I now have to
is
show him
very
this,
reminiscent of MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, which was a redubbing over an actual Japanese game show that was ridiculous. So that Wipeout was an homage to that one. But
Very cool.
yes, check it out. It's on Hulu. It is a Disney production, so it is big budget. The designer of the course is Stephen Curry. He's in every episode, who's a basketball guy. I had to ask my daughter, I said, is he a basketball guy? She said, yeah, he's a basketball guy.
Hey, plays for Golden State.
Okay. And, there's one hole where you have to choose, because it has to be chipped, and they're not there to chip. They're there to play mini golf. So you either have the course pro, who is Stephen Curry, hit it, or you can have the golf robot, which is voiced by Rob Riggle. But, I mean, just the announcing, Rob Riggle, it's very off the cuff. You can tell it is not completely scripted, because there is stuff that Rob Riggle will say, and you'll see Joe Tessitore fighting to maintain his composure because he is a professional.
Nice.
Check it out. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Good, wholesome family fun.
Very cool.
All right. Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. It was fun. Thank you guys for joining me.
Of course.
Hopefully everybody has a amazing scare the crap out of your neighbor's dog day tomorrow.
Yep.
Somebody told me today, have a safe 4th. I said, but that's no fun. That sounds terrible. The 4th of July is the day where we celebrate our liberty by tempting fate. And with that, all I have to say is Murica. Yeah, head on over, head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. There's titles there that need votes. Stick around if you're watching live for the post show. We'll work through those and figure out, we'll pick a good title. If you're watching this after the fact, join us live here on Twitch Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central. We're here every week.
Almost.
Except next year, 4th of July is going to be on Wednesday, right?
I will not be here on that day because
we'll have to figure that out. Or is there a leap year
I don't know.
that'll jump it over? But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it next year. But for now, I guess that's it.
All right.
Okay. See everybody in the post show or next week. Bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
America.